time, Montezuma 55th, 5th, where they want to see the games with the sold out ticks, and they cheer for the dunks, but they love them kicks. And if we talking Aztecs, we talking.
Yeah, we talking Aztecs. This is a San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans.
By the fans.
With Justin Smead, this is Josh Taylor. This is part 2 of our Aztecs preview. We're going to dive into a little bit of the schedule first and foremost. First game, November 1st against Cal State San Marcos. Fisher, it seems like every year, starts off with a couple cupcake type games to really build the guys' confidence moving forward. And then we dive into Arizona, November 14th at Viejas Arena. Now that, number 5 ranked in the nation, preseason ranked, that is going to be a matchup, and Justin and I are going to do everything in our godly power to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to take out a second mortgage to go, but as far as Cal State Fullerton, you always got to have those couple games to get you tuned up. UC Riverside on the 8th. These are all at Viejas Arena. It's Arizona's turn to come to Viejas. That is going to be a raucous crowd on a Thursday night. So for me, I'm totally stoked and pumped for this game. There's no way I'm going to miss it. I'm going to go to this game, whether my girlfriend hates me for the rest of my life or not, on a work night. But, that's going to be a fun game, fun atmosphere. That's one of those games that we played so close when we went to last year when we played Arizona. It was settled by Chase Tapley getting blocked at the buzzer.
That was so frustrating, too. I remember that weak underhand layup, and the guy came from behind him and just pounded off the glass.
I think that was Christmas Day.
That right there would have been enormous.
So there's a lot of built up animosity. I'm sure they want to get one back for Tap, and I know Tap would love to just play in this game, just to play in it. I'm sure that these guys haven't forgot about that game.
Nope.
What a hard fought game it was.
That was a great game.
What a great game. I thought it was a classic. But yeah, that's going to be a key one right off the bat. Number 5, Arizona. If you can get a win in your building and you knock off
against
Arizona,
a top 10 team.
Well, and as hard as we played them last year, they're going to find out who Josh Davis is real fast and Skylar Spencer in the middle. I really think we can hang with these boys and get a win at home. And
I think just as importantly, if not more importantly, the fans have to set the tone.
They do.
I think the fans got to be loud. They got to be obnoxious. They got to get in these guys' heads. Every time we dunk the ball, the place needs to shake, rattle, and roll.
They need to go BYU on them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited for this matchup to start off the season. Then we jump into the Wooden Legacy Tournament, which includes the likes of nationally pre-ranked number 17 Marquette, Miami, Arizona State, George Washington, Creighton. I mean, this tournament is loaded with talent, and the Aztecs are going to have, arguably 2 or 3 matchups in this tournament against very, very good teams.
Right. Potentially, as far as strength of schedule down the road, if you can get to the finals and knock off a couple key teams there, that's going to bode well for your resume going into March, and they're going to really look at those kinds of wins. You don't want to go one and done in this tournament, obviously, because of the strength of competition in this thing. Creighton is huge. They got that McDermott kid coming back. He's on the national scale.
Well, that's what I say. We'll play the winner of Creighton and Arizona State.
Right, so you're starting off with College of Charleston. That should be a no-brainer. Hopefully Arizona State knocks off Creighton for us.
That would be awesome. So
we'll have an easy road to the final.
Oh, and we could say we dominated Arizona.
Right. Well, the whole Arizona State. Now we're really kings of the West Coast, right?
Right.
So, no, that for me, that's a big tournament for us. We really got to make some noise in that thing. But looking back, Arizona University, the Wildcats, that one's got to be the big one. That's got to set the tone for the tournament going into the Wooden Legacy, because you really got to knock off Arizona at home. I really think you got to make some heads turn, and then set your pace from there on out as you go into conference play.
We knock off Arizona, looking at the schedule. we're going to be 5-0 heading into the second portion of this Wooden Legacy tournament. And last year, if you recall, as far as our non-conference schedule, we were like 16-2, I think, at one point. And then we started to really get some hard-fought battles in our conference.
Oh, yeah.
So, getting a good run like that, like we did last year, if we can knock off Arizona and, do well in the Wooden Legacy, we come out of there playing, teams that we should beat.
Right.
Washington is going to be a challenge.
They're no slouch, yeah.
And San Diego, we play USD every year.
And my thing is
that's always a good competition.
Well, St. Catherine College, that's a huge matchup for us. St. Catherine's College,
God bless them.
God bless them, but they're a huge team. I think everybody on their team's like 7 feet tall. No, I'm just kidding. We should do a steamroll over those guys. They don't even have a freaking time on this game. Maybe they won't play it because maybe the Catherine of College, St. Catherine College, won't show up that day. I don't know. And that's right before, right after Christmas there. That's not very good. That's not nice to them to put coal in their stockings before Christmas.
Well, and then, conference play actually starts relatively early because more teams have been added to our conference. So
right.
We're at Colorado State on January 1st.
Right. Which is weird because then we go right back to Kansas. So, yeah, Colorado State, the conference kicks off on the 1st of January. But, see, that's where I'm afraid of that game because that's on the road and you might be looking ahead to the Kansas game. And that wouldn't bode well for the Aztecs.
I hope not.
Because they might be anxious to get there to Lawrence and want to play that game.
I think we did see that last year. I think that Wyoming game we had last year in Wyoming.
Yeah, it was a hiccup.
I think they kind of looked past that, and I really hope that's not the case at Colorado State. You want to get off to a good start in your conference.
Of course.
And then
Kansas,
Kansas.
The biggest one.
And they're currently ranked 6th nationally in the top 25. We signed a home and away. We're at Kansas this year. Next year they come to Viejas Arena.
Right.
That's going to be another huge stepping stone for the Aztecs. Win or lose, they have to play good in that game and really show the rest of the nation that the Aztecs are still a force to be reckoned with.
Right, and look at these matchups, Josh. I mean, we're saying the likes of Arizona. We're seeing the likes of Kansas. I mean, these aren't teams we used to play. It used to be cupcake all the way down to conference play. Cupcake teams all the way. You couldn't get big teams to come into Viejas Arena or anywhere because, frankly, they were probably a little skeptic to come in with their team to a hostile environment. Now, you're signing home and aways. You're getting nationally pubbed. You're a big team on the block. People are noticing you now. So now for a team, they're going, well, if I do go to their house and we knock them off on the road, it's a huge win for our program. And the polls, the voters are going to notice that kind of thing. So for me, it's a great it's great to see that teams are willing to come here now and sign home and aways. Arizona game, that's huge for us. So, yeah, they're thinking, well, if we can knock San Diego State off, that's a huge win for us, feather in our cap. On the other hand, San Diego State not ranked at that current time, knocks them off. Maybe we shoot up into the top 25. And those are the kind of wins that really stamp your name for a resume. So, yeah, it's just good to see quality opponents on your schedule because as far as the Aztecs, can we hold down and hang with Kansas? I don't know. I haven't seen Kansas play very much. So we're going to have to really do our due diligence and see what kind of team they are going into that game.
Absolutely. And one thing that Fisher has built over his run here is getting quality opponents to build that RPI. Because when we're talking March Madness down the road, they look at that RPI, your strength of schedule.
Resume.
Last year, with Syracuse and then we played Arizona.
Right.
Luckily, New Mexico and I think UNLV bounced in and out of the 25. I believe Colorado was in and out of the 25.
Right.
I think even Wyoming made it in the 25 at one point. We had 4 teams that made it in the top 25. So assuming that we have some of the same in the Mountain West Conference. Last year, I think we were ranked as like the 1 or 2 RPI conference in the nation.
We were 1 for a while. I think we bounced back and forth, but yeah, you touched on it, man. those kinds of things, when you have 3 to 4 ranked teams in your division, the committee's going to look at that all day long and go, well, quality of opponent. Maybe your 15th ranked loses to the 17th ranked, and vice versa. It's not going to be a huge rift in your rankings because you're playing quality people. So along the way, and looking at some of the schedule, I know UNLV plays some tough teams this season. I know New Mexico has a couple teams in there where they're playing really good competition before the season starts. So they're trying to get their name out there and their schedule up too. So I think the last 3 years, Steve Fisher's done a great job for the Aztecs, getting us some quality opponents, like you said, and really getting our name out there.
Absolutely. And to further it, having potentially, if we play Marquette, 3 top 25 teams that we face in the non-conference schedule. Let's say you win 2 of those 3. I mean, 3 of 3 would be a stretch, but 2 of 3 could be a very good possibility.
Right.
You win 2 of 3 of those games, and that puts you well into the top 25.
Right.
And that RPI number skyrockets, and
that's going
a lot of people start turning heads. Mm-hmm. The team builds confidence. They go into the actual conference schedule with a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. Kind of a lot of confidence.
Right. Well, the confidence is key, and you got to knock off one of these teams. Even if you went 1-3, you just got to have your select spot where you win. I hope they win a couple games in that tournament, but if they do knock off that Arizona early game, that's really going to push them hard.
It's a huge jump
especially,
start.
Yeah, it's going to, and then by the time they get to Kansas, they can go, well, we have that number 5, even if they lose in Kansas, which is a good possibility. There's no gimmies. There's no easy game on the road, especially when you're going to Lawrence.
Right.
Those are the kind of places you want to play in, and for the Aztecs, it's got to be. It's got to be the right situation. You got to go in somewhere and win a big game, along the way. You can't lose all 3 ranked opponents. That's not going to go well for you going into conference play. So, yeah, big win. You got to get a big win, knock somebody off, and make some noise.
Moving on to the conference matchups. Now, last year the Aztecs were 9-7 in the conference. Played really well at home. They were 14-1 at home, but they struggled on the road. Some of the games that they probably should have pulled out, they didn't. Maybe they were overlooking. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was the thin air up in Colorado. Who knows? But
Air Force.
They have to have, in my opinion, a slightly better showing in the conference this year in order to really give, I guess, Aztec fans the excitement that we can go deep. Not only get into the March Madness for a 5th straight year, but go deep into the March Madness.
Yeah, no, you got to show your fans what you're made of. All indications this is going to be a good Aztec team this year. Solid team, I should say. Whether it's defense or rebound, I really think we're going to be good on the defensive side. But yeah, our whole division, you got to realize when you got teams like New Mexico, UNLV, San Diego State, Boise State making some noise, now Colorado State making some noise in the top 25 last year. You got to realize, as the teams get better in your conference, all the teams get better in your conference because it helps recruiting at all
levels.
All levels. Every team now, Wyoming can go, well, we play in a big RPI conference. Do you want to come play for Wyoming? We're going to get you some national recognitions against big teams. So it helps every team in your conference recruiting-wise, and it just gets better from there. Why do you think the Pac-12, the ACC, the SEC, they get the big-name players? Because they're traditionally, year in, year out, very good conferences. So it's one of those things that it just progresses with time, and the more it perceives itself, the better the whole aspect of your conference gets.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Utah State used to be in the Mountain West.
I'm not a historian on the Mountain West, but I know that Utah used to, the Utes.
Okay.
Utah State's different. Utah Utes used to be, they went to the Pac-12, I believe, so.
Gotcha. And I mean, they're currently ranked just behind us in the pre-ranks for the Mountain West Conference.
There's
Colorado,
there's
Wyoming.
No slouch on this.
Fresno State played us tough last year.
Mm-hmm.
Nevada played us tough. Air Force played us tough. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about San Jose State, but the conference from top to bottom is going to be tough. I mean, New Mexico is arguably the front runner. They've returned a lot of starters from last year. Same with UNLV and Boise State. Mm-hmm. So for the Aztecs to jump 1, 2, or potentially 3 of these guys, we're going to have to see Winston Shepard improve his game. Skylar Spencer's going to have to get more involved in the scoring. Mm-hmm. So same with J.J. O'Brien. Josh Davis, who Justin and I both believe is going to really...
Newcomer of the year.
Yeah, he's really just going to have a presence on that
add
court.
Another dimension to this team.
Exactly, and basically bring back kind of what we had with Kawhi Leonard. He was the forefront of the offense.
Right.
We had our perimeter shooting, but all eyes were on Kawhi Leonard, so you dish it into him. He might take advantage of a guy and dunk the ball, or he dish it out to the perimeter shooters who they get wide open shots because their focus was Kawhi Leonard, and I'm hoping that Josh Davis's presence will add that type of chemistry to the Aztecs offense.
I think it should, Josh. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. This kid's put up numbers for the last 3 years. He's going to instantly make this team a legitimate contender in the Mountain West. I think as the season progresses, the offense will run through Josh Davis. I really believe that. Over time, once he gets more comfortable with playing with the Aztecs, like you said, we need to see Winston show up in his sophomore season, grow up a little bit, not pout, don't hang your head, get to the line, make your free throws, really be a leader and a standout guy he was at in Vegas at Finley Prep. You saw videos of him leading his team. He needs to be that kind of force for us this season. Show what your game's developed into. X Thames needs to get everybody together. He needs to be the voice of the team. He's not a very loud guy. They were all joking that's a quiet team this year because Jamal's gone, Chase is gone. So, things like that. We just need leaders to step up. I think Skylar Spencer has a chance to be Defensive Player of the Year in this league again. When you set the freshman Mountain West Conference block shot record, there's something to that. It doesn't happen by just luck. You're blocking, you're swatting. This guy can absolutely get up in your face and stuff it right back in your face. So, for me, Skylar Spencer is him and Davis underneath, and we'll go over our lineups in a little bit. I think those two need to work well together. I hope the chemistry fits. They're going to be a force underneath. They really are. Defensively, I think this team's in great shape. Rebounding, I think we're going to be tops in the Mountain West, or one of the 2 tops in the Mountain West. Defensively, we're going to see... I don't know if Winston can pick up his game anymore. I think he's good at being a shutdown kind of guy. He seems to be a pest for some offensive players. So we'll see how it develops into, but I really think as time goes, Josh Davis will be the key focus of the offense.
Yeah, and the Mountain West Conference schedule, looking at it right now, January 18th, UNLV's here at Viejas Arena. We don't play UNLV or New Mexico till almost the end of February. February 22nd, we're at Albuquerque. Then UNLV March 5th, and then we end here at home against New Mexico on March 8th. So the Aztecs have an opportunity to take advantage of the schedule, playing the so-called bottom of the conference as far as rankings go, before they really get to the competition that they're ultimately going to be fighting for this conference against, New Mexico, UNLV, and New Mexico in the last 5 games we play New Mexico twice and UNLV once.
Right, and I'm looking at the schedule, Josh. I see something that really favors the Aztecs. I mean, there's only 2 times in the year where we play back-to-back road games. For me, that's huge with all the conference play games that we have this season. You got back-to-back road games against San Jose State and Utah State. You should be able to win both of those games. I'm not saying they're not quality teams, but Aztecs should be able to take those on the road with solid performances. Then we touched on earlier, what was our home record the last 2 years at Viejas? 24 and... What did we have? 24-4, or what was it?
I'm not sure. It was pretty ridiculous, though. I mean, last year was 14-1 by itself.
14-1. I'm sorry, last year. So when you space them out, you got the 2 road games. You always seem to be back at home, though. Say you do come off a tough loss, you get right back in Viejas and you get a quality win to shut, kind of get your momentum back. So the second one's going to be against Fresno State on the road. March 1st, and then March 5th at UNLV, which is always tough. Fresno State played us tough last year, but that was where Jamal Franklin went ham off the backboard from the from the 3-point line.
Awesome.
But those are the only two glaring, road kind of weary games. You never want to play back-to-back road games; they kind of suck. But this team's battle tested. I know that they can handle it. But like I said, getting back to Vejas, say you do come off of maybe a hard loss, it gets you right back on track because you got your crowd there and you got your home court.
Well, and what I look at too is February 8th against Nevada at Viejas, all the way down to San Jose February 25th. We have five matchups at Viejas Arena opposed to 2 on the road. So that's going to be huge right there.
Right.
The way the Aztecs have played at home, we have a chance to pick up a lot or increase
make up a lot of ground there.
Maybe make up ground or increase our distance between the pack in the division or in the conference. So I really like our conference schedule. I do too. I think the Aztecs have a chance
favorable
to take advantage of it because they're playing the so-called bigger teams in New Mexico and UNLV later in the season, and by then all the kinks have worked out. The team is molded. Yeah. They're gelled together. They're working well. It's a well-oiled machine, and now you face New Mexico. So I really like this non-conference schedule. I really like the conference schedule, the way it's set up. I think the Aztecs have a chance to put another solid 20-plus win season together.
I do too.
And make some noise going into the March Madness tournament.
I really do too, Josh. Another thing I like about conference play, once you get into it, it's fun watching the other teams play once in a while. It's cool to watch New Mexico take on UNLV, in the pit.
Right.
It's fun to see teams go to the wire with better teams. Last year UNLV was taken to the wire by a lot of different teams in our division.
Well, Air Force beat UNLV, I believe.
That's what I mean. The competition in this league isn't bad, and I think that'll show itself over the course of the year when they come out with the RPIs and towards the end of the season going into the tournament. You're going to see a really high RPI for this league, and that's what I'm most excited about. The matchups, what it brings to this conference, and all the quality of teams. I mean, every night you've got a battle on your hands.
Absolutely. So let's dive into the possible lineups.
Okay.
We've got a list kind of put together, and I'll let Justin break this down. But we've got a couple lineups that we could see in place. Our starting 5, people coming in off the bench, 6th man. So I'll let Justin break it down, starting off with our first lineup.
Well, this first lineup I have here, this is my projection. This is my opinion. I'm not right or wrong. Don't judge me. The lineup I have starting off would be point guard, obviously X-Thames. I think Max Shrigley cracks the starting lineup this year. I think he's going to be the shooting guard at the 2 spot. I think Winston's going to play that small forward position. Power forward, Josh Davis, obviously, and Skylar Spencer in the middle. Now, what that provides is extreme length for our team and some speed. Matt Shrigley can get up and down the court. Thames as well. Shepard can run the floor. Josh Davis is an animal. Spence is that one not-so-fast guy, but that's fine. Fast breaks, we don't really need him down there on a fast break because he probably won't make it anyway. So you got a 6'10 center in Skylar Spencer. Josh Davis rides at 6'8. Winston's 6'8. Wingspan like a frickin' tractor trailer.
It's a huge lineup.
Yeah, Matt Shrigley's 6'6", freshman. Not a true freshman. And then X-Thames is 6'3". So that lineup is pretty lanky. I think it's one of the better lineups I think we can project this season. And you look at your bench. You got 6'7" J.J. O'Brien, which I struggled with on my decision with the starting lineup. J.J. O'Brien was in there last year a lot. I think he comes off the bench in a different role this season. Hopefully it's going to be one of the key roles to maybe being the best 6th man in the conference. I really hope that bodes well for him. Dwayne Poley, hopefully he's worked on his game this year. He showed signs. He had a couple decent games where he really flashed some brilliance. I hope he steps up his game this year. A long, lanky kid's got extreme athleticism, get to the hoop. He just needs to really polish up his game and take it to that next level.
Right.
Dakari Allen, one of the freshmen I'm excited about. We're both excited about. 6'5". Kid can absolutely run the floor. James Johnson, we need to see some improvement from him off the bench. He needs to be another big man that we can go to and actually rely on.
Absolutely.
We can't have Skylar Spencer and just depend on him all the time out there. So
we were excited about him coming into the season last year.
Yeah,
obviously,
Virginia,
he was a transfer. He didn't come in until about half the season was through. But he kind of disappointed me in a way in the fact that he wasn't as much of a presence as I guess I thought he would be.
Right.
And so I'm really looking for him to step up his game now that he's gotten a full off season. He got some work in last year. I really hope that he can elevate his game because we're going to need to give these guys a break and not lose, the potential scoring and or defensive threats.
Right, and it almost seemed like last year, Josh, I'm sure you would agree with me, it just seemed like he didn't fit in with any of the offense.
Right.
He looked slow, he looked lanky, he'd post up on the basket, and I'm talking slow because he looked slow, and he'd it's like, we're not that team, brother, you got to pick up the pace a little bit.
Right.
So, yeah, we definitely need to see some improvement from this kid. He needs to be a big key for us this season. We can't have Sky putting in all the minutes. We got to have a break for Sky once in a while. You can't run Skylar Spencer into the ground. So we got to have him come off the bench and be productive. The last guy, Darrell Williams, for sure, he's going to be the point guard to spell X Thames. Really like what he brings along with the Dakari Allen. So the two freshman kids from Sacramento, they're going to bring a game-changing pace. Hopefully they get their feet wet real quick and insert themselves into the lineup.
Absolutely, guys. We're going to try to do this each and every week, be updating you on games past, kind of look at big matchups moving, forward. We're brought to you by our sponsors, SK Digital Imaging. Our buddy Sean K has you all covered on all your printing needs. Give Sean K a call at 858-408-0732. Also, sdforlife.net. If you're looking for diehard San Diego sports gear, our boy Alex has you covered with your diehard gear at sdforlife.net. Guys, we are the San Diego Sports Junkies. This is our Aztec preview show of this upcoming 13-14 season. We're excited to continue to do this each and every week.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna try to do this as much as possible and make sure the fans can chime in and get their voice heard a little bit and just talk some Aztecs basketball. That's what we love to do, and it's a show for fans
by the fans.
There you go. So any of your guys' input on Twitter, www.sandiego.sportsjunkies.com. Just visit us there for all our podcasts, latest podcast, new articles up that we feel like we can blog about. We're always looking for people that want to write as well. If you guys want to shoot us a tweet or
email us,
we can do. I'm at BoltsPride21. He's at SDFan2378, and then you can get us at SD_Sport_Junkies. That's SPORT, not S. At the end, so Junkies on Twitter as well. So hit us up, and if you got any input for the show, let us know, and we'll be glad to take your comments.
Thanks again, guys, for joining San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans.
By the fans.
This is Josh and Justin, and we are out.
See ya.
Team, y'all don't get it, do ya? New squad, new year, but the same ego. New ring, new bling, check stilo. And they wanna see the show like a movie Regal. Unfair, cheat code. We go hard, Chico. State my point like the repo. Take what I'm owed like Debo.